This summer, students had the opportunity to participate in National Geographic producer Jonathan Scheinberg's TV journalism workshop. Students explored the stories of their colleagues, ranging from American identity to undocumented immigration.
When did you first come to America?
I migrated here in 2013.
Did anyone have any negative assumptions about the Jamaican culture?
Yes, they had their own generalizations. They thought I smoked weed, that I knew Bob Marley. A lot of just negative stuff. They didn't know that we don't have a Thanksgiving Day, so I had to teach them certain stuff.
After I was born here in the United States, my parents decided to achieve the American dream. It was quite hard for me because since they were Mexican, they couldn't come with me at first. So I spent half of my childhood living with my grandma.
As a Mexican American, you have to prove to the Mexicans how Mexican you are, and you have to prove to the Americans how American you are.
It wasn't necessarily hard for me because I watch a lot of American movies and TV shows, so I guess I was familiar with the culture.
So my grandma, who gave me the name, is a descendant from like a Jewish lady that when my grandma first came to America from West Africa, Liberia, the lady was very kind to her, and she helped her, and my grandma worked for her, and she was an elder lady, and like she cooked and cleaned and assisted her, and like the lady first gave her a first taste of America because she was kind, and they showed her like how good America could be.
But then I started like looking at myself as a Mexican American because I wanted to be an American. I like being part of the society here in the United States, and so I call myself a Mexican American.
The education part of school wasn't really hard for me. The only problem I had was them putting me back into a grade that I already went through, so I had to like really do those same courses and same classes all over again. And making friends initially was kind of hard because everybody already had their friends from middle school. So basically, I was kind of like an outsider.
How has like the ignorance and racism surrounding Africa affected your perception of your ancestry?
For the longest, I didn't want to be African. Like I didn't like personally identify as that, and I would try to be as Western as possible. And I felt like Africa was the absolute opposite, like they were polar opposites of each other. And like I just felt like West was like civilized and Africa was uncivilized, and anything to do with that I didn't want to have no part of.
Even though I have a citizenship here, if my family has to move back to Mexico, I'd rather choose my family and my citizenship, and I'm willing to give up my citizenship than give up my family.
I think that it's really challenging to be undocumented and to have this status, this immigration status, and I think that it's also a blessing because in many cases there are a lot of opportunities. I just have to dig through them, and this experience of coming to the United States in general has made me a better person. I think I was a pretty snobby little kid when I was back in Mexico. I think that I was upper middle class and I was used to getting everything I wanted, and so when I came here and I realized that, oh my gosh, I don't have this many resources as I used to, like it really made me like a hard worker.
Black Americans very like much romanticize Africa, and it's very sad because they don't have a particular country where they can be like, you know, this is where my ancestors are from. So I understand their love for the continent. I understand why they try to relate themselves with the continent, but I feel like I have a direct bloodline over there. So I feel like it's completely special, and I'm very privileged to have that because I have a particular country I can point to the map and be like, this is me, and this is what we eat, and this is how we talk, and it's a lot. It's something that they've been robbed of.
At first, when I was younger, I did fear that if I spoke up about my parents' status, they will be deported back to Mexico. And now that I've grown into 16 years of my life and I'm almost reaching adulthood, I've realized that I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of what I'm doing to have my family get the citizenship that they deserve. If I have to fight for my family and if I have to lose my citizenship, I know that it's going to be worth it because I'm fighting for my family.
The SJP 2016 cohort also explained how their life's experiences contributes to their activism and goals.
Currently, I volunteer as part of a club called Students Together Organizing Peace. Some of the things we have done in the past has been helping the homeless. I wanted to help the homeless because I feel like I connected to them on another level. And I feel like I really resonated with them because there were multiple occasions when my family wound up homeless themselves.
My high school started a RAISE group, and RAISE stands for Raising Awareness of the Harmful Effects of Tobacco Use.
My dad used to have a pretty high up job whenever I was around 12 years old in the oil field business. He was a supervisor on multiple plants, I guess you could say. And after he got fired from that, he started working on the oil rigs, so that paid significantly less, and he was no longer on salary like he was before.
One of the other RAISE members and I actually went to a Board of Health meeting, or a public comment space actually, and we gave our opinions on an ordinance they were trying to introduce about banning smoking in gambling areas and bars with gambling machines. We gave our opinions about it in the 3-minute comment period, and then some people kind of rebutted what we said with the fact that we were only 18, not supposed to be allowed in these places, and how our opinion doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter to the board.
I saw my parents struggling, well, my mom struggling to pay for the rent. And it got to the point where she had to ask to borrow money from my sisters and from her own friends as well.
I'm first generation, so neither of my parents have gone to college. One of my older brothers attempted to attend Texas Tech University, but after my dad lost his job and we were no longer a part of the upper middle class, he couldn't afford to put himself through school and still focus on his grades.
As for my sister, she had to take time off of college to help my mom financially because she used up most of her financial aid helping with the rent. So for now, she's taken a semester off and is accumulating money to pay for her tuition.
Both of my parents smoke. My grandparents always did on both sides. Recently, my mother suffered a heart attack, and the doctor said that it's directly related to her smoking and her unhealthy habits.
If I go to college the way I plan to, I would be the first to do so in my family.
One of my plans for the future is to definitely go to college. And I want to go there and hopefully study journalism.
When we were shut down by one of the other citizens at the Board of Health meeting, I actually was thinking that what we say as the younger generation matters more than what the older generation says. They already screwed up and allowed smoking in these places, and it's causing people to get sick and it's causing people to die. And we want to try a new way. We want to change that.